Our land is rich, yet for too long our people stayed poor. That ends now. The gold of Burkina Faso will no longer build foreign cities. It will build our nation, our security, and our future.
In 2025, Burkina Faso reached a moment that many thought was impossible just a few years ago. The country produced 94 tons of gold, the highest amount in its entire history. This was not just a number on paper, it was a powerful signal to the world that Burkina Faso's mining sector was alive again. Only 3 years earlier, the situation was very different. In 2022, the country faced 2 military coups, political confusion, and growing violence. Foreign investors became scared. Many mining companies stopped expanding their projects. Some even left the country. Gold production fell, and confidence disappeared. At that time, many believed Burkina Faso's best mining days were over. But in 2025, everything changed. Production did not just recover. It exploded past all previous records, beating the old high of 67 tons set in 2021. This turnaround showed that even in a difficult environment, the country could still grow its most important industry. Officials say this success came from strong government reforms and better control over mining operations. For ordinary people, this record gold year matters because gold is not just a product. It is the main source of money for the state. More gold means more revenue, more jobs, and more hope in a country that has suffered for many years. The gold boom became a symbol of recovery, strength, and national pride. Under Ibrahim Traoré, the gold story is not only about producing more metal, it is also about who controls it. When Traoré took power, he made one thing very clear. Burkina Faso's natural wealth should no longer mainly benefit foreign companies while local people remain poor. His government began changing the rules of the mining sector. The state increased its profit share from foreign mining companies from 10% to 15%. This may sound small, but in a gold industry worth billions, it means a huge increase in money going directly to the state. Even more importantly, the government nationalized 5 major gold mines, putting them under direct state control. This was a bold move that shocked many investors but excited many citizens. Traoré described this approach as economic sovereignty. He said Burkina Faso must mine its own gold for its own people, not for France, not for the West, but for Burkina-based citizens. In his speeches, he often repeats a simple idea: the soil is rich, but the people are poor. For him, controlling gold is about dignity, security, and independence. This tighter control also allows the government to decide how gold money is used, especially for fighting terrorism and building infrastructure. While critics worry about investor confidence, supporters believe this new approach finally puts national interest first. Gold has now become the financial backbone of Burkina Faso, at a time when the country is under extreme pressure. Years of terrorist attacks have damaged the economy, scared tourists, and forced the government to spend heavily on security. At the same time, Western countries like the United States and the European Union have frozen non-humanitarian aid because of military rule. This has made foreign money harder to access. In this difficult situation, gold revenue has turned into a lifeline. The money earned from gold exports now helps pay for soldiers, weapons, roads, power projects, and basic government services. Economists say that without gold, the state would struggle to function. Despite security risks, officials believe production will rise again The government also plans to open at least 10 new semi-mechanized mines that will be fully owned and operated by local investors, not foreign firms. This is meant to keep more wealth inside the country and reduce dependence on outside powers. As gold becomes more important, so does the risk. If gold prices fall or violence increases, the economy could suffer badly. But for now, gold is doing more than bringing money. It is helping Burkina Faso survive, resist pressure, and reshape its future in the Sahel. What is happening in Burkina Faso is not happening in isolation. It is part of a bigger movement spreading across the Sahel, known as resource nationalism. This idea is simple but powerful. African countries are saying that their natural resources should first serve their own people, not foreign governments or multinational companies. For decades, gold, oil and minerals were taken out of the ground, exported overseas, and sold for huge profits, while local communities remained poor. Leaders like Ibrahim Traoré are openly challenging that old system. Traoré said clearly that Burkina Faso's gold must fund the country's security and development. This message resonates deeply with citizens who have seen wealth leave their country while daily life stayed hard. Across the Sahel, similar governments are watching Burkina Faso closely. If this model works, it could change how African resources are controlled for decades to come. Supporters see it as a return of dignity and self-respect. Critics warn that pushing out foreign companies could reduce investment and technology. But for now, the political mood favors control over cooperation. Gold has become a symbol of independence, and whoever controls it controls the future direction of the nation. As Burkina Faso tightens control over its gold, pressure from Western countries has increased. The United States and the European Union have frozen non-humanitarian aid, saying it is a response to military rule and lack of elections. For many countries, such sanctions would be devastating, but Burkina Faso has responded differently. Instead of backing down, the government has leaned even more heavily on gold revenue. This has changed the balance of power. When aid stops, gold steps in. Money from mining now helps replace funds that once came from foreign partners. This shift reduces Western influence and gives the government more freedom to make its own decisions. However, it also raises the stakes. If gold prices fall or production slows, there is no safety net. Analysts say this moment is a turning point. Either Burkina Faso proves that economic independence is possible under pressure, or the strain becomes too heavy to manage. For now, record gold output sends a strong message to the world. Sanctions zones are not enough to break a state that controls its own resources. Gold has become both a shield and a weapon in this new political reality. Gold is no longer just a metal dug out of the ground. In Burkina Faso, it is reshaping power itself. The revenue from gold now helps pay for soldiers fighting armed groups, roads connecting isolated regions, power stations bringing electricity to towns, and basic services that keep the state running. This makes gold central to national survival. With plans to open 10 new locally owned mines, the government wants to deepen this control even further. But the future is not guaranteed. Violence could increase. Global gold prices could drop. Managing state-owned mines requires skill, transparency, and discipline. If mismanaged, the same gold that strengthens the country could also weaken it. Still, for now, the momentum is real. Burkina Faso is quietly positioning itself as a serious mining power in Africa. Gold is writing a new chapter in the country's history. It is changing who holds power, who makes decisions, and who benefits from the land. And in a region shaped by conflict and foreign influence, that change may prove to be the most important outcome of all.